God. Okay, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever part of watching us. Welcome to today daily market analysis. Starting with the fundamentals, as it is our custom, looking at today on Wednesday, looking at in the morning, we had President Trump was speaking. We saw President Trump was speaking in the morning, and also we had the news for the AUD, that is wage price index, and we saw it came in negative. Talking about the rates, we saw the RBNZ, that is the Reserve Bank of New Zealand, cutting their rates from 4.25 to 3.75. That is by 50 basis point. And also in the morning, we saw President Trump speaking, and at 10 p.m. and 10 a.m., that is on the Asian London overlap, we'll be having CPI for the pound, and also today we'll be having FOMC meeting. And talking about these fundamentals, okay, talking about these fundamentals, with starting with the NZD, we saw it cutting their rates, and we saw the press conference. So at the start, we saw the NZD pairs spiking up, but after the press conference, we saw these pairs. So initially, we saw these pairs spiking down, and after this, the press conference, we saw these pairs moving up. And talking about the CPI for the UK, you can see we have the previous one, you have 2.5, and the forecast is at 2.8. So you're speculating for a high inflation. You're speculating for high inflation. That is from 2.5 to 2.8. But the question it is that we had, so last time we had a rate cut on the pound. So we had a rate cut on the pound, and we saw the Bank of England cutting their rates. So, and today going to the inflation. So, if you see a high inflation, you can see that a bit of some contradiction, because whenever we see a rate cut, we usually see inflation going lower. So, but I'll be interested to see how the data will come. So, at 10 a.m., we'll be looking for the GPP news, and also talking about the FOMC meeting. We'll be having the FOMC meeting later at night, and I'll be interested to see how the next Fed meeting will. And we'll be looking how the dollar index will performing. And talking about the DXY. Okay, talking about the DXY. Talking about the DXY, we've been seeing some sales contracts on DXY for now. Talking about the DXY, we've been seeing some couple of the metrics being stronger for the dollar, and some metrics being weaker for the dollar. And yesterday, we saw something interesting about the correlation between gold and the DXY. And so talking about gold, so first of all, talking about gold, we've been seeing that most of these first-class countries, talking about the developed countries, usually know that they usually store their wealth in terms of gold. And there's been claims that these countries, they don't have that physical gold they usually talk about. So it's a very interesting thing to look at, to see how the dollar will perform in the next coming days. And they're talking about the Fortnox. So we're talking about the Fortnox, and they'll be talking about the opening of the vote to see the physical gold. And they're talking about that if the claims come that these countries don't have physical gold they usually talk about, we'll be seeing a weaker dollar. And that's why we'll also be seeing gold spiking higher and higher. So it's a very interesting thing to look upon. It's a very interesting thing to look upon in the coming days. So, but in the meantime, you can dive into the technical analysis so that you can check how the market is behaving, how the market is reacting. So one minute I share my screen, and looking at the chart. Okay, looking at the chart, we can start with the idea of the DXY. We can start with the idea of the DXY, and the DXY. Looking at it from the higher time frame, we've been seeing some sort of the bearishness on these are a trend or this index, and we're still speculating for further downside. We're still speculating for further downside to see if this trade will come all the way to the key reversal region. And for this trade, we're looking for it coming all the way to the 200 DMA. That is on a daily time frame. So we're speculating coming on the short, expecting for the trade to come all the way to the 200 DMA. But for us, we're waiting to see if we can get some sort of a pullback to the 50 MA for us to be very clear on the sales opportunities on these DXY trade. So, but is a trade to look up. So whenever we have this trade coming to the 200 EMA, is a point of interest for us trying to look for the position to buy. And also looking at this trade, you have this name pattern. You have this head and shoulder pattern. You have the left shoulder, the right. You have the head and the right shoulder. So looking at this one, you're still expecting for this trade to come all the way to this region. So looking at the neckline. So mentioning from neckline to the up. So we're expecting for this trade. If we can get this trade coming to break this 200 EMA, we're still expecting for this trade to go lower. And the lower where we're targeting for this DXY to continue. If it will break 200 EMA, we continue targeting all the way to the 800 EMA. That is on the dollar index. So coming to look at the group one pairs. Looking at the group one pairs, that is we can start with the Euro USD. And Euro USD, looking at the general trend, we are in a downtrend. Looking at the general trend, we're still in the downtrend. But we saw the market came and gave us some it tested some liquidity up here. So the market came and tested some liquidity up. We had that external liquidity that's on a daily time frame. So we saw the market selling. We saw the market selling for a couple of days. So looking at the lower time frame. So when coming to look at the lower time frame, that is on H1 time frame. So we saw this market has been making the lower highs and the lower lows. So you can draw our trend line. You can see that our trend has been making the lower lows and the lower highs. So we'll be interested to see this market, how we need to react at these 50 EMA. But we'll be interested to take for sales all the way to the 200 EMA. So you see how with this trade we come to the 200 EMA, is when we'll be interested for us checking for setups for buy. But at the moment, you can check the setup for short sales all the way to the 200 EMA. So this one the trade that we entered yesterday. So we entered this trade at this point, and still continue on the sales all the way to the 200 DMA. So it's a trade that we are considering for some small sell before we get some momentum for buy. So looking at this trade, we've been seeing that it has come and so it was making the lower lows and the lower highs. But at the moment, right now, we can see the market is making the higher highs and the higher lows. So at the 50 MA, you can see the trade has broken that 50 MA. And what we will be expecting is the break of structure. So at that 50 MA, that is on H1 time frame, you can take our small sell and targeting all the way to the 200 DMA. So that is it on Euro USD. Talking about GBP USD. GBP USD. So we'll be having the news, that is the CPI for the GBP. And I'll be having it in the next 5 minutes. We see how these GBP pairs will behave on that news. Talking about GBP USD, we've been seeing this market came and gave us some tops. And we can see that this market has been a consolidation. So looking for this trade, you can see that the trend has been a consolidation. So from Monday, we have been seeing this trend forming some sort of that ranging. So we tested to see the market coming out of this range for us to look for the possible patterns. So, but we tested to see how the CPI will come so that we can position ourselves on a GBP USD. So another trade we can check is AUD USD. Can check AUD USD, and for this one, yesterday we saw the Reserve Bank of Australia cutting their rates. We saw some spikes, and for this one, the trade that we said we are going to target it all the way to the highs. So we tested to see how this market will react at these yesterday's highs, so that we can look for the opportunities for sales all the way, targeting all the way to the 200 DMA. That is it on AUD USD. Talking about NZD USD, as you are aware, in the morning we had the news for the NZD, and we saw the Reserve Bank of New Zealand cutting their rates. So initially we saw this market spiking down, but after the press conference, we saw this market changing the direction. So for this market, we tested to see it coming all the way to the key reversal regions. Talking about the yesterday's highs, we see how the market will react to this point, and also talking about, so this market will break yesterday's highs, we'll be looking for this setup at the previous top high. And also we can draw a trend line. If you can draw a trend line for that point to this point, you can see that our trend line has been broken up. So what you can see, another point you can wait for this trade, it is at the yesterday's highs. You can see if you can get some sort of reversal patterns. So if you not get reversal patterns, we'll be looking for this trend at the stop and high. That is it on the group one pairs. Talking about the two pairs, you have USD CHF, and the USD CHF. Looking at this trade on a higher time frame, the daily time frame, you have seen this market have been held up very well by the 800 EMA, but the market has gone to retest at the 50 EMA, that is on daily time frame. So just look at this daily candle, see how it will close. This daily candle will close as a bearish. You start to be looking for some short position on USD CHF. But we see these are daily candlestick bouncing above 50 EMA. You'll be looking for the setup to buy. So as I said, I can see time is not on side, so you can do summary. So for this one, you're expecting. So for this one, you saw the market came and broke 50 EMA, and right now you can see the market has come to the test that 50 EMA, the break of structure. So at the moment, you'll be looking for the setups to buy all the way to the 800 EMA. So looking to the minute 15, you can get some sort of formation of a candlestick. This is one of the trades that we are going to buy all the way to the 800 EMA. So use DCHF is one of the trades that we are going to look for buys all the way to the 800 EMA. Talking about USD CAD from the daily time frame. So we can see that this trade has been headed up by this order block. And what we'll be expecting on this trade, we'll be expecting for this trade to give us some sort of the buys. We're expecting for this trade to give us some sort of buys for us to position ourselves on the buy opportunities. So at this region is where we have this order block. And I can see that trade has been headed up by that daily order block. So we'll be expecting to see some pullback all the way to the 50 MA for this trade confirm for us a break of structure. That is on daily time frame. So if you see some pullbacks to the 50 MA and then the trade confirms for us that it has done a pullback, we are going to look for the sales opportunity. But at the moment, we can look for the pullbacks all the way to the 50 MA. That is on daily time frame. So another trade we can check is the GPPs. And in the GPPs, we can start with the GPP card. And this was the trade that we were looking yesterday. And we talked about the idea of this trade giving us some sort of M patterns. Yesterday, we had the CPI for the card. And this is one of the trades that we said we are going to look at it at the stop and high. So we saw the market opening with a gap, came to retest that yesterday's highs, and we saw the market selling all the way to the 50 minutes. So for this trade also, for us to position ourselves, we be looking for sort of M patterns of yesterday's highs so that we can position ourselves for sales opportunities. Talking about GPP and Z. So GPP and Z, we saw the market in the morning. So this one of the trade that we are talking to give us some sort of M pattern. This is one of the trade that we look for. We are looking for the setups to sell. And for this one, it's one of the trade that we highlighted. You're waiting for the M patterns. we speculated to get some sort of patterns on this trade. And in the morning, with the idea of the interest rate in the morning, so the market giving us that sort of M pattern. So we saw this market giving us some sort of M pattern, had the effect of the news, and we saw the market coming all the way to the 200 EMA. So at this moment, can still check for the pullbacks, can still look for the pullbacks to this region. To get some setup at this region, this will be tested for us looking for sales. So that is it on the GBP NZ. Talking about GBP today, nothing much because the trade is in between the EMAs, so nothing much on this trade. Another trade we can check is the euros. And I'm talking about the euros. We have the euro AUD. And for this trade, yesterday we talked about the idea of this trade testing at the 50 EMA. So, and you can see the trade came and we tested very nicely. And what we are seeing on this trade, we are seeing some sort of bearishness on this trade. So this is one of the trade that are speculating continue selling all the way to the previous low. So that as we can see, this trade has been making the low highs and the lower lows. So we will be looking for the setup to sell. So another trade we can check is a Eurocard. Talking about the Eurocard, this was one of the trade that was not in our watch list, but the trade yesterday has been head up by the EMAs. So for this trade, we're still speculating for sales. And if you get some pullbacks all the way to the 50 EMA, it's going to be tested for us, position ourselves for sales. So that is on a Euro card. So another trade we can check is a Euro CHF. Talking about Euro CHF, nothing much on this trade. The trade has been head up by EMAs, so no setup on that trade. Talking about the yen pairs, you can see CHF JPY. This is one of the trade that we are looking for the setups to swing trade. And what you can see on this trade is one of the trade given give us a very clean structure. Give us a very clean structure. So yesterday we were looking for the opportunities to see if this market will come to this mitigated order block. But what we saw yesterday, we saw the market came and retested very well. This mitigated order block, and it confirmed for us for the sales. So we saw a bearish engulfing. So still we are looking for sales on these trades. Still we're looking for sales on this trade. And for this one, we try to look for the possible setups at the 50 EMA. For us, we try to look for the setup at the 50 EMA. So that is on CHF JPY. Talking about GJ, GBP JPY, we're still speculating for the sales opportunities. Talking about GBP JPY, talking about CHF JPY, talking about CAD JPY, we're still looking for the setups to sell. Talking about the metals, we have gold. Talking about the metals, we have gold, and we have been seeing gold has been moving like crazy. What has been moving like crazy, and what I was speculating on the gold is speculating for other buys. Now, yesterday we took some buys at this region, so we took some buys at this region, and are still speculating for further buys on this. If we get some sort of patterns on gold showing us bullishness, we are going to continue entering this trade for buys and are targeting all the way to 30,000 mark. So our target for gold this year is 30,000, but with the effect of the Fortinox, we can extend our take profit from 30,000 to another price level. So we'll be expecting more bullishness on gold. We're expecting for more bullishness on gold. So whenever we get some setup on gold, particularly the metals, we're looking for the buy opportunities. Talking about silver, we're still looking for the buy opportunities. Silver, we'll be looking for the buy opportunities. Okay, talking about the stock indices. We have S&P 500, we have the Nasdaq. For this trade, look the idea of this trade come and break. It came and break this resistance region, so we're expecting some pullback. That is S&P 500. Talking about Nasdaq, we're still speculating for a retest, so that I can position ourselves for buys. We have been seeing most of these stocks they're being driven by earnings, the earning reports. So these are stock indices. The earnings came in higher, so that's why you've been seeing it has been skyrocketing. So what you're expecting on this trade, we talk about the idea of this trade giving us some pullbacks and position ourselves for further buys. Talking about talking about Bitcoin. Talking about Bitcoin, nothing much on it because we are still speculating for this trade to break above 50 MA and for us to look for the buy opportunities. Talking about oil, it is. So talking about oil, you can see that we are getting some sort of the pullbacks. And what you'll be expecting of this trade, be expecting for continuation of sales. On oil, you're speculating for continuation of sales all the way to the previous low. All the way to the previous low is where we'll be targeting oil prices. Okay, so that is the analysis for today. So disclaimer that you must do your disclaimer. It is that this is not for financial advice, but for educational purposes. So you must do your due diligence and use proper risk management. See you tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye-bye.